Some sad and tragic news in the baseball community last night as prominent broadcaster and former catcher Ray Fosse passed away last night. Fosse played in baseball as a catcher from 1967 to 1979, was an all-star with the Cleveland Indians, and a two-time World Series champion with the Oakland Dynasty of the 70s. He also would play for Seattle and Milwaukee, and he became a very popular TV and radio color commentator for the Athletics. In fact, he was the first ever draft pick of the Cleveland Indians when MLB implemented its first amateur draft in 1965. Fosse was born in Marion, Illinois, and would listen to the Cardinals on the radio. He attended Southern Illinois University and was picked in the first round, as I said, in the first ever proper MLB draft in 1965. He made his debut with the Indians September 1967 at the age of 20. He had a great first half of 1970. He was batted .313 with 13 home runs and 45 RBIs, and was a reserve for the 1970 All-Star Game. Fosse took part in what was his famous play in the 12th inning in the 1970 All-Star Game. Pete Rose was coming to home plate and collided with Fosse. Fosse suffered a fractured and separated shoulder on the play, which did not heal correctly, which meant that he had chronic pain that was never resolved. All that. Rose was highly criticized for being over-aggressive in just an exhibition game. Fosse would win the Gold Glove Award, but would only play 40 games in the second half of the season. Injuries would just plague him for the rest of his career, but he still pitched. Fosse was traded in 1973 to the A's for Dave Duncan and George Hendrick. He would play 143 games in his career on the team with Ken Holtzman, Vida Blue, and Catfish Hendrick pitching to him. Fosse made his mark throwing out 5 base stealers in the ALCS against the Orioles and helped the A's beat the Mets in the World Series. The A's would repeat as world champions, giving Fosse another ring, but injuries would just ruin him for the rest of his career. He would retire in 1980 at the end of spring training. He had some good stats as a catcher, active catcher. Winning 2 World Series titles and was part of the first ever Seattle Mariners roster in 1977. Fosse was a color commentator for the A's on NBC Sports California and on Athletics radio broadcast. He was nominated for the Ford Award in 2004, but did not receive it. Fosse revealed he had cancer August of 2021, which he had been fighting for 16 years. He had to stop being an announcer. Ray Fosse has died of cancer at the age of 74.